CB on the mic. World Rule Talk. Yeah. CB break it down, yeah, the host with the vision. From the classics to the new, every film get precision. Obscure reels hitting gems, yeah, we dig in the vault. Every frame get examined, every angle we talk. From the old school grain to the high def shine. Indie flicks to the hits, yeah, we cover all time. If it's cinema gold, then you know we gon' say, hit subscribe, tap in, let the critics all play. Yeah, film talk strong, never fading away. World Rule Talk forever and a day longer.
Yo, what up though? This is your boy C Dot to the B Dot coming at y'all once again with another episode review. And today we're going to be talking about an episode of Goosebumps. This one is actually based off of a short story in R.L. Stine, one of his like anthology books, and it's called An Old Story. Now, this one wasn't half bad. You know, the makeup effects on the characters were pretty decent, actually. You know what I'm saying? Because this show had a a really low budget, so they had to work with what they had. But I felt like the effects were decent. You know what I'm saying? And one of the characters in this episode, he actually played a character in Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was one of my favorite episodes called The Tale of the Forever Gang. It's about this kid. He's with his homeboy and his sister. You know what I'm saying? And they come across this tree in the middle of the woods because they keep going in circles and they're stuck. You know what I mean? So he accidentally falls into the tree. And so he has to play this game with the kid that's inside the tree. And whoever wins, that person gets to escape. You know what I mean? And I was like like I said, one of my favorite episodes. It was a pretty good one. But this one here, it was pretty decent too. So in this episode, it's about these two boys who get stuck at home. And of course, they have a Goosebumps parent who has to find some reason to go out of town or has a reason to go out of town. You know what I'm saying? Leaving the kids at home. So their aunt Dahlia shows up. And so, their aunt, she's a little eccentric from the jump. You know what I mean? And she makes these prune cookies and she wants them to try them, but they're hesitant, and so she, starts strong arming them and all that into trying them, basically saying, "You don't try my cookies, you don't get no dinner," which is weird. You know what I mean? Most of the time, it's the other way around, and so even from the start, you know what I'm saying? When I first saw this episode, I'm like, okay, it's something up with these cookies. Because first of all, you're not going to threaten no kids, you know, you know what I'm saying, with no dinner if they don't eat these cookies. So they wind up trying the cookies, and the next morning they wake up, and they're both older. You know what I mean? So they start getting older and older and older, and the aunt, you know what I'm saying, Aunt Dahlia, she invites these two women over basically as a hookup. You know what I mean? So these two older women, get with the two boys. You know what I'm saying? They start playing cards and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a little house date. And so the whole purpose of their aunt feeding them these cookies basically was to get her two older friends married. And so that was a questionable part. You know what I'm saying? And these two friends were in on it. They knew what she was doing. And so the boys, they try to formulate a plan on how to escape the situation. And at first, they go up into the room and they try to climb out the window, but they're too old and out of energy. And so the aunt, she busts in the room telling them to come back downstairs. So she's forcing them to be with these women. You know what I mean? And so in one scene, we see one of the boys, you know what I'm saying, go to the store to get some milk. And he looks in the mirror at the store and he sees that he gotten even older, you know what I'm saying? And so he comes back home with the milk, and now the boys are trying to you know what I mean, desperately get out of their situation. So they have a little meeting in the kitchen, and they see this baby food in the cabinet, and they're trying to, they wonder why it's there because both of them are of age. They're probably like maybe 11 to 12, even 13. I don't know, but nobody in the house eats baby food. I'm just gonna say that. So one of the boys, he gets it out the cabinet and he tries it, and then his skin starts reverting back to his younger age. And then the other boy, he does the same thing. And so the aunt once again bust up in the kitchen, and the aunt and the two women see that they're now back to their normal age. And this pisses off, what I'm saying, Aunt Dahlia or whatever. And so she wants to turn them old again, which I'm like, yo, come on, son. You know what I mean? Like you really want to do this to your own nephews. And so one of the boys opens up the fridge and they discover a pitcher of prune juice. And the aunt, you know, based on the way she flinched when she saw it, they knew that that prune juice was their way out. So he just took the whole pitcher and threw it on his aunt, and then she just dissolved into like dust. You know what I mean? And then he looks over at the other older women, and then they just dip out. You know what I'm saying? They wised up and they dipped out. And so now, right before the episode ends, their mother calls. And one of the boys, you know what I'm saying, he's talking to her and she wants to talk to her other son. And so when he was trying to get the phone to his brother, you know what I mean, he discovers that his brother ate the whole, I guess it was another jar of baby food, and he ate it and he became a whole baby, you know what I'm saying? And so that ends the episode. So I got a few questions about this though. So one, right? Was the mother in on this situation? Because I'm just like, who was this lady really? You know what I'm saying? Aunt Dahlia. Because when he threw the prune juice on her, she dissolved into dust. So was she actually a human at all? Or a witch or whatever? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And then the second question I have is at the end of the episode when one of the brothers decides to eat a whole jar of baby food and he becomes an actual baby. I'm like, what the hell made him do that? You know what I'm saying? He was already cool. Like they already reverted back to their original ages. So I'm like, excuse me, what made him do that? And there's always a question that the most, you know what I'm saying, at the ending of most of these episodes. But this one here, I was just scratching my head like, okay, again, was the mom on this whole thing? And why did he eat the whole jar of another, jar of baby food or whatever? But yeah, man, that's my review for An Old Story. If y'all haven't watched this episode, you can watch the whole series on Tubi. It's definitely on there. So check it out. Let me know what y'all think because this will be an interesting conversation about this episode here. All right. But for this episode though, I'm going to give it a grade. This episode definitely gets a 8.5 out of 10 for me. Only reason why I'm removing that half score is because again, why the hell did you eat, what I'm saying, another baby jar of baby food at the end of the episode? It made no sense. But anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.